Hello. This video will go through the steps of how to find titles and cells using common web mapping on mineral titles online. The video will also explain the Identify tool to see more detailed information on these titles and cells, such as when the claims expire or the exact cell coordinates they lie at. So first step is to go to www.mtonline.gov.bc.ca. As you navigate there, you'll notice that there's two different map viewer options. There are the CWM, which stands for Common Web Mapping Viewers, here on the left, and on the lower right we have the IMF2 map viewer options, IMF2 standing for Internet Mapping Framework. Now for this example, we are going to use the mineral map option of the CWM map viewer. So here we have our setup. Now the first step is to go to the top right here and go to the Layers button. Select that. Here you'll notice that there are check marks in the boxes and some without check marks. So active layer will be one with a check mark in it, and one that isn't activated will not have a check mark. So the layers here are scale dependent. So the more that you zoom in to the map, the more layers will become visible. You know that the layer will become visible when it goes from being a pale blue and italicized to unitalicized and a darker blue. So here we can notice the reserves, the reserve history, and the mining divisions become visible. Now the next step is to look at the legend. Here we have the legend on the left, and that shows us what symbolization is for each layer. So the reserves is by green and yellow there. So if we want to add a couple things to this, keep on zooming in, and you'll see that because of the scale dependency, we have more layers that will become visible. So here we have a bunch of claims and leases that become visible. So what we're going to do is we can see the titles there, they are visible, and to actually get them to refresh in the legend, you have to close the legend and then open up again. So here we'll notice that the leases are becoming visible. Now, with this little arrow, I'm just going to switch that into the map viewer frame, and we'll move on to the next step, which is how to search for titles and cells. So in the mineral map viewer, you can look for cells or mineral titles. In the coal map viewer, you'll find find unit button instead of a find cell, but that's just a small difference. So here I'm going to use the find mineral titles option. So I'm going to punch in the title number here and click OK, and it's going to bring me right to that title that I'm interested in and have it highlighted in yellow. So if you don't like the highlight, then you can click the clear highlight button here on the top left of the viewer. Now please note that if you're searching for a title that has been terminated or was terminated before 1991, the title will not be in a registry and unfortunately cannot be searched online. If you want to re-highlight your title here, then you can just go back here and you find titles on the right and click OK, and it'll re-highlight it for you. Now the next step is to use the Identify tool. So the Identify tool is the button in the top left corner here, the little eye, and the default setting is the All Layers feature. So it will identify every single layer that you point at on the map. So let's say I click right here, get the little loading, and if your browser does not have a pop-up blocker, you will have this window pop up for you. So I do recommend turning that pop-up blocker off. So you actually get information from the Identify tool in two different forms. So you get the pop-up window here, so you cell key ID, the cell status, the cell's UTM coordinates. So that's telling me the details of that. Now here in the little panel on the side of our map viewer, you can expand the information that you get from every layer that is involved. So in this particular place here, we can see that it is highlighted in the middle. So that's the MTO grid layer. This is the title layer, and it will show you information such as issue date or good to date, and the owner and everything, which is public information, so that is available to you. And the map sheet grid, so this is the larger map sheet grid that is actually outside of our extent, and here the larger map sheet grid as well. Now if you're only concerned with looking at the title itself, you can choose to use the Identify tool just as on the one layer. So we can select the only title option here from the Identify tool, and I'm going to select inside our title, and here it'll give you the title's detail. So we have the good to date, the issue date, the type of title, the number, of course, the area in hectares, the current owners, and its past ownership history, which can be interesting to you. And that's pretty much it for the Identify tool and how to find cells on mineral titles online. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at the Mineral Titles branch by telephone at 1-866-616-4999 in between the hours of 8:30 and noon and 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or of course by email at mineral.titles@gov.bc.ca. Thank you for watching.